Ha ha!
We did
There
it.
we go.
We finally did it, people. Here we are, Market Fire Podcast. I am the co-lead host, Danny Bombay. I prefer that you call me Dr. Danny Bombay.
He's not a doctor, and his name's not Bombay. But go ahead.
Well, that's my official name now on the internet. Um, King of the Cocks, Kaiser of the whatever, Führers of fun. We're gonna sit here and we're gonna talk about some business news stories. And I know that the big man is going to try and sneak in a dumb story. And I'm
Oh
going to
yeah.
pretend like it's a surprise. So, what are we starting off with today, man?
I think first you wanted to go to the Patagonia story.
Yeah. So, this is a fascinating story. This came out a couple weeks ago. We've been on a little bit of a break. I served my time. The state says I'm rehabilitated. So, we're back. I'm kidding. I've never even seen the back of a squad card. Okay, maybe I have. But this is a great story. And the reason I love this story is it appeals to a group of people who simultaneously hate capitalism but love business. And they want to live in this magical utopia where wealthy people get all of their money taken away by taxes. And somehow that translates into good schools and roads. That's never happened before. But
Yeah,
the
right.
Patagonia founder said he was going to give up all of his wealth. He's donating his company. Patagonia is a multi-billion-dollar company, and everyone on the internet, like the Dan Price types, who is now canceled, but the people who are like, yes, higher taxes, take money from the wealthy. They're all clapping. They're all patting each other on the shoulder. They're all massaging each other in their no-no regions
Uh
because
huh.
this is so exciting. And then it turns out it's a tax avoidance scheme. Now, I went from hating Patagonia to loving it for this reason and this reason only.
See, I knew you were gonna act like that. I knew you were gonna act like once the story came out on the back end of this,
Yeah,
which at the time, look, I saw this article when it came out. I don't remember whether I saw it or Danny sent it to me when it first came
yeah.
out, and I thought that's not for real. I am call me a
No,
cynic, right?
no,
I
he's.
try to be
I think
positive, but call me a cynic.
no, I think he really is going to donate the company. I'm just saying that he's not going to stop benefiting from. I mean, it's a tax avoidance scheme.
Well, him and his entire family, right? So
Yeah,
this when it but that's not what he when the article was written the first
yeah,
time. It was this guy, and now granted, I kind of dug into this company a little bit. This
right.
company has always been on the side of the environment, right? They've
Uh
always come
huh.
out and said, "Hey, there's too much of this in the world, and we're doing this as a company to lower our footprint." And there are
Sure.
several companies out there that do this kind of thing,
And
right? So
and
they've been on that side for a while for them, but then you read the article and the article's like, okay, and he's donating his companies so that the profits can go toward this, right?
conservation. Yeah.
So I read all of that and I went, okay, there are a lot of really cool people on Earth. There really are. But I don't know a single one of them that donates their hundreds of billions of dollar company to a nonprofit for
Yeah.
absolutely nothing. Now, if they're
Well.
dying and they don't want their kids to have anything, like if there
Yeah.
was some other stuff attached to it, guy's dying of cancer and he doesn't want his kids to get crap. Great, on board with
Yeah.
that, 100%. But there was nothing in that original article that said anything like that. It's like, no,
Right.
he's healthy. He's going to continue to live his life. His family's going to continue to live your life, but they're donating everything to charity. Then,
Stupid.
then
Turns out that was. Well, I do believe they are going to proceed. I don't think that's. I don't think that's
well,
changed.
no, there's no reason, no legal reason for them not to, right?
Right. But it turns out that, of course, they're giving this all to charity for the people. But also, just as an aside, by accident, they're going to save $700 million in taxes by doing this.
Well, but not see this the and Danny's referencing the what is it, the Bloomberg article? Yeah,
I
the
think so.
Bloomberg article that came out and saying, okay, yeah, he's going to pay about $17 million in gift taxes, or you know what I mean, stuff like
Right.
that, to send this over to put it into the nonprofits or whatever. But
Yeah.
then in the same article says, well, that means he would have saved over $700 billion if he would
Million,
have
million.
just sold his company on the stock, like his
Mm,
ownership, right?
right.
Obviously would have made him a lot of money, but he would have paid the government $700 million, give or take, in taxes. for
Right.
divesting in his company. So it definitely saves in the transition wise, which is a smart move. But then you start reading this article and go, okay, whoa, 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 whoa. He's still going to take a paycheck from this nonprofit.
Of course.
His family's still going to take paychecks from this nonprofit.
Yes, of course.
And then on top of that, get this. On top of that, um, his kids, when they inherit this company, because it's thrown through a nonprofit,
Eh,
will pay zero.
yep, as they should.
But as there's a wealth tax, right? When
Yeah.
people inherit
Well,
money in the United States of America. However, these kids, his
right.
kids, the
Right.
company that's going to be a for-profit, non-for-profit, because it's 2% for-profit,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
98%
Not for
non-for-profit,
profit.
right?
Correct.
Is the way they structured it. So there's
Yep.
still a for-profit entity
Right.
to go to control the other 98% non-profit. Um, he escapes when his children inherit their shares of this now public non-profit company.
Right.
His children will pay zero wealth tax.
The way God intended it. So I'm fine with that. And let me tell you something. As soon as they start stocking Patagonia over the DXL, I'm going to be the first guy buying a vest.
I,
I've
I,
always hated Patagonia. I think it's stupid. I think it's a dumb brand. What I did find interesting in the course of researching for the story,
mm-hmm,
him and the North Face guy are buds. Like they're still friends. Like they started their companies separately. North Face guy actually started as a store, sold the
mm-hmm.
North Face to some other company, and they're just like they still go on expeditions. And like what I found fascinating about this which was there's like a parallel to that TV show from Tim Allen called Last Man Standing.
Yes.
And there's a little bit of a parallel where like their whole marketing was like they actually go on these expeditions of like, yeah, we're doing, but they're really doing. I mean, they literally built a business around their hobby,
Right. They would do
billion
it
dollar
anyway.
business.
Right.
Like, here's what I'm saying: they built a business around their hobby, $1 billion business, and now they're not paying taxes on it. God bless America. This is fantastic. By the way, people, if you didn't know, Rolex, one of the most premier watchmakers in the world, the most recognizable brand in watches, is a non-for-profit Switzerland entity,
Okay.
which
See, this is, and again, Danny and I do not do a political show, but again,
we don't,
sometimes it carries over.
of
Sometimes, like
course,
in this case, where I go, Danny has said already a couple of times, as God
plenty of
intended
times.
it, no
Yeah,
taxes to the, you
that's
know what I mean?
correct.
Whatever. Where I'm of the complete opposite opinion in that
Mm,
taxes is how governments ran. Governments need those profits
right.
and for
Taxes,
everybody to
Satan.
pay
That's
their
why
fair
you agree.
share, right? Everybody to pay their fair share. This one,
Mm,
after the second article came out about, okay, look, people, the money savings, tax evasion, whatever. Okay,
tax avoidance, which is your God-given right,
no,
as
it's
as as
not.
the
It's
as the
not.
as the
Danny, do not.
Supreme Court
Anybody
recognized.
listening to this live, and we're doing it live, folks. So this is
Yeah,
what
I
this
know.
is how Danny and I fight in real time. But look, you can't avoid taxes. Taxes and death. Those are the two
Yeah.
things. You have to have it to run the government. Anyway, the point is that I was trying to make is after the second article came out about all of this, a college professor, Boston College Law School, Ray
Hmm.
Madoff, right? Obviously, he's teaching law. He's a lawyer. Been doing it a while, right?
Yeah.
Boston
But his last
College.
name is
We've all
Madoff.
we've all
Okay,
heard of
his
Boston College. I get you're trying to do the Madoff thing. No, no, no,
yeah.
no, no. So Boston College, good school, right?
His yeah,
Says
his brother ran a Ponzi scheme like the government does. But I'm just saying.
you have no idea whether those two are related. Quit it.
They're probably
All
not.
right.
But yeah.
So, quote, we are letting people opt out of supporting all the expenses of government to do whatever they want with their money. This is
Yes.
highly problematic from the
No, it's
point
not.
of view of democracy, and it can mean a higher tax burden for the rest of Americans. End
Mm,
quote. He's got a point. Every dollar that a company does
mm,
not pay in taxes is
correct.
another dollar that everyone else has to share the cost of
Yeah.
because the government's not going to stop running. The government is
Right.
not going to stop employing people.
I
The
think you
government
just
is not
pointed
going to
out the
stop
problem.
doing what they're doing in its
Yeah.
entirety. And that dollars has to come from somewhere, which is what taxes are. right?
Mm,
And every company that avoids paying their dollar, you and I talked about it about Facebook last week about the intellectual property thing and right the fees associated that with that.
yeah.
Every day that we allow that to happen is a day that then turns that dollar over to us.
Mm. Well, obviously, philosophically, and morally, I view this as, and I mean this sincerely, and this sounds like some like Ayn Randian villain almost. Like, I mean, someone who hates Ayn Rand sees me as the villain, but
Mm-hmm.
for saying that it is immoral to take this man's money. He's built a he's built a company, and you can say, well, the government has to run. I
No,
think you just described my problem. Like, no, it doesn't. It
Danny is
doesn't do anything.
100% anti-government.
Yeah, well, let's not
Well,
say
not
that while we're
100%,
let's
85.
not. Yeah, 99.87.
If you go to
Um,
Danny's house, he's still going to call the cops. But,
that's true.
but anyway,
Well, I'm
okay.
just saying, am I going to pull out the sawed off first? Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
But
No, no, no.
nonetheless, I saw this story, and at first, and Patagonia's had a history of being kind of anti-corporate and saying stuff like, we don't want, because it's a meme and a trope that investor guys in New York City in the finance district, they wear the dress shirt with the Patagonia vest,
Mm-hmm.
and so they stopped selling Patagonia vests wholesale to the companies that do they'll embroider your logo on it, and they stopped doing that because they hated that reputation. And here he is using those same dick bags to do tax avoidance. And let me tell you something, my heart swells with pride and joy when I see somebody playing these, um, $70,000 Subaru driving pseudo intellectual. Well, it's about the environment. Everyone has to start riding their bicycle everywhere.
Quit it.
People,
Okay, we
yeah,
call them tree huggers, all right, and that's
right,
fine. Tree huggers
right,
are going to be the death of us all. I stand by that statement I've had for years.
right.
But they're not bad people.
No, but they're not bad people in the same way um, individuals who do acts of terror aren't bad people. Okay, like
Okay, quit.
I'm just saying. So those people with the specific bumper stickers, you know who they are. The
Yes,
coexist bumper sticker on the back of
yes.
their Subaru. I don't know that a Subaru costs 70 grand, but they're spending 55, 60 grand. I mean, you can buy a nice Subaru, you equip it, it's 50 grand. And they're not riding their bicycle anywhere. They're not avoiding taking they're going on their vacation to the Dominican Republic. They're just saying you shouldn't be allowed to. You should have like don't have air conditioning because that's bad for the environment. Don't have farming. So I'm just saying to see this play out this way, so the next time I see one of these people, I can say, nice Patagonia vest. This guy's on my team. He avoided paying taxes. God bless America. That's what this country is all about.
There,
Okay.
look, there
The
always has
government
to.
create
Go
the
ahead.
government creates rules, and people like me, super geniuses that believe in this thing called liberty and freedom, we say we're not paying, pal, and we're gonna figure out how to get around it.
I don't agree with anything Danny just said in the
Of
last
course you know.
15 seconds. But there's always got to be a first one, right? Like
Yeah.
the loophole where you send your intellectual property to a country that doesn't have taxes and you have
Right.
to write a check. And whoever figured that out, there was somebody that figured it out. That was not the intent of the law, wasn't created that way. So
Right.
that somebody figured it out. If
Right.
this guy has figured out that
Mm-hmm.
Warren Buffett, Jeffrey Bezos, Elon Musk, if this guy has figured out how to take all of these rich people, the Walmart family, right?
Yeah.
The
Walton's.
billionaire heiress in Australia, right?
Yeah.
That's on the top five wealthiest
Yeah,
people in the world.
my good friend Ye, Kanye West,
No,
a
no.
billionaire.
And
Yeah,
if you saw what he posted yesterday, you still wouldn't be talking about it. Anyway,
I know.
point is, if this guy's figured out how to take these companies that all these people own, turn them into a nonprofit and save themselves taxes on a everyday basis, their family, guess what the wealth tax is would be for this particular family. Okay, you want to take a guess of how much
Forty
Uncle Sam
percent,
would get
30,
to keep?
15 points. I don't know, 30 points.
40%.
Yeah, and
Now I don't
I'll,
I don't know that anybody should be charged 40%
for anything.
for anything, but anyway.
And let me just, I don't want to berate the point here, but I just want to say, last week, or on Monday, we talked on our live about how, companies will reorganize their intellectual property, and they'll shuffle it around
Mm-hmm.
so that the intellectual property eats up all of their profits in
Yep.
a perfectly legal tax avoidance mechanism. And here's the reality. That's the simple reality of this world is there is no such thing as taxing the rich, and I'll tell you why. I'm, I'm technically not a tax citizen of the United States. I'm a tax citizen of the UAE. I'm there, or I'm a tax citizen of Puerto Rico if you're an American. Um, and well, my company is in Belize, and the intellectual property owner. The rich spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in tax avoidance. And let me just make this. This is a political point, and I'll just close. I'll stop
Mm.
talking about it after this. But the reason I believe what I believe is they're not going to stop doing that because you'd be stupid too. You'd be an idiot. As much as this guy is about this guy, thinks is Stephen Arnott or whatever his name is all about the environment. I don't believe that he's faking that part, right? But
Yeah,
he's
no, I
going,
don't either. I don't think he's doing this maliciously, but
no,
the person that does it non-maliciously, but it works, is going to lead to a billion of the people that are doing it for maliciously,
right.
right?
And so that's why I've been an advocate of saying this system of like we're like listen, when I say the way God intended, like you can go anywhere in America and right outside of this building where I'm recording this, there's 15 churches. They all exist there without paying taxes, but they all exist there like through private voluntary funding. So to tell me that we can't have so I'm just saying like,
Don't get me started. They should all pay their taxes.
no, they should,
But
all of us, every human being on this planet, but Americans in particular, we're all a walking church. None of us should pay any taxes of any kind. But of course, that's just me. I'm just trying to be moral, logical,
not
and liberty focused.
not true.
But
But back
mm,
to the story. Here's my point.
yeah,
It the companies, the reason the IP thing came along, the reason in this case this guy's doing this, I have no doubts. He if unless I know otherwise, unless I found out otherwise directly, I have no doubts that this guy's trying to do the right thing. Right? Good for
yeah,
him. I don't doubt anybody trying to do a good thing until I have a reason otherwise to think. Right?
right, yeah,
But my point though is him doing this. Um, and all that stuff at the point, if the math, it's all about math, right? Every
right,
company, insurance companies, that's how they exist, it's how they make so much money. There's a bunch
right,
of math nerds sitting around each other and deciding whether it's more expensive to have a recall or more
right.
expensive to pay out the lawsuits that come from not
And
recalling the recall,
yeah,
right?
and let me tell you something, by the way, in regards to actuaries, all of them, and I repeat, all of them, my uncles. That's true though. Like I'm thinking of
Do you
six people
even
I know.
have a single uncle, blood uncle, that is an actuary?
Yes.
All right, so good. Go ahead, because sometimes folks,
No,
Danny
no,
likes to
they're
say
they're
his uncles,
right.
aunts,
No, they're
cousins.
right. They're it's two generations of actuaries who work in
Uh
two
huh.
separate insurance companies, and it's hilarious to like because I know more than one actually. So yeah, it's
Look,
true.
my point though is if we made the taxes less than what it's costing them in those actuaries,
Right. They'd pay.
they would pay.
Yeah.
So can we just figure that out? Can we just close them all and go, hey, you've been paying not just companies, but obviously your elites, right? Your personal people.
Right.
They all go to the same group of probably 100 lawyers, right, or whatever it
Yeah.
is, and CPAs and all that stuff. Um, if they would just figure out a way to figure it out, lower it all, right, where it would be the math would be on their side,
Well,
let's do it.
here's what I would say: if it's a flat 10%, it sounds low. My feeling is it is so much easier just to like, all right, it's a single page, no deductions,
Hmm.
single page of like how much did you bring in? Because I think it's called a 990 is what churches file. And
I I get rid
it's
of that
literally
too.
right. But it's literally a single like it's a single page document and you just goes this is how much we brought in. The guy signs it, it's off to the races. if it was a single thing like that, I would say that you would see it would probably increase the net of what comes in because you don't need the IRS could fire 97% of its people because you don't need investigators or any of this other stuff. And then Bezos is going, why am I paying some guy, you know, 10 million a year to
Hmm.
avoid paying $8 million in taxes?
Right.
You know,
And look, that's just one way of the things that they could do, right? Now,
right,
again, and this is the part that I'm always interested when it comes to business because
no,
big time business, obviously this is a successful company. There's no way to look at this where he
right,
hasn't creatively or he hasn't successfully created a brand, a company that's worth $2 billion, right? His
yeah.
family success, yada yada. So obviously he's done a lot of things right. My
The more you
question.
talk this guy up, the more my heart just goes dum dum. He's God bless America. Like this guy, he did it. He has billions of dollars and he's not paying taxes. It's just,
So
and
wrong.
I hate his brand, right?
It's
And
so
like I
wrong.
think I hate the Patagonia brand. I hate what it
Oh
stands
yeah,
for.
I don't the company,
And
but
and I hate the outdoors. I'm an indoorsman, okay. But let me just say this one. Just it makes me want to thump my chest, fly the American flag out of a diesel truck, throwing smoke out of it. Like,
throw just
wait,
coal running just to all of them.
yeah, yeah, we did it. And let me just say this, for those of you who are interested in the, what we were talking about, with the tax avoidance schemes and shelters and stuff like that. There's a great movie on Netflix called The Laundromat, and it's about the Panama Papers that came out a long time ago,
Hmm.
where they figured out basically every head of state in the world, with maybe the exception, like every head of state, everybody was running their LLCs and their corporations through one law firm in Panama. It's you
Well,
know
because again, like I said earlier, they're good, right? They're
Yeah,
good.
they're great. And
Um,
listen, I just want to say this in closing. As a former client of Mossack Fonseca, I just want to say to both of those guys, I hope you guys are doing well. God bless you. I hope things are working out for you. Sorry about the prison time.
you are so full of it all the time, all the
Yeah,
time. Y'all
yeah,
see what I deal with now that we're
yeah.
doing this stuff live and we're live in all these places. Which hello Facebook, hello Twitch, YouTube, eventually LinkedIn, or where else? Whatever I
Whatever.
didn't say, right?
Yeah,
Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter.
yeah.
Twitter's the one I forgot.
Right.
But so y'all see
We
what
did
I
it.
have to deal with Danny all the time. This is his
Mm,
perspective. So
right.
the other one Danny wanted to make sure he was talking about was the new Elon Musk controversy. Controversy.
Controversy. Controversy.
It is
Don't call this a.
controversy.
And let me tell you something. On my other podcast, we're going to talk about the crisis of young men. Look at these two men that we're talking about, Elon Musk and the other guy. I forget Aranet. I forget his name. I forget how to pronounce the Patagonia guy's name. But these men are geniuses. Just follow their path. So the story is that Elon Musk, is locked horns with Twitter. He said he's going to buy it. We predicted he's never going to close on it.
Mm-mm.
Then he says he's not going to buy it. And then the federal investigation starts. So he said, I'm going to buy it. Okay. And then documents are leaked saying that his intention is to gut the company, 75% of its employees. Genius.
70.
He's he's playing 47 dimensional chess, and the rest of you are walking around with your dick in your hand. This guy's a
Immediately,
genius.
immediately when Danny sent me this text, just reading the headline before I even read the story, I
Yeah.
was like, bullshit. Bullshit. He's
What do
doing
you
it
mean?
to have the employees revolt so he
Yes,
doesn't have to buy the company. He is
correct.
doing this so that, I mean, you're not talking about. There's some companies out there where you go, okay, I'm leaving out 75%, which sounds like a high number, whether you have 3 employees or a billion employees. You're
Right.
talking about 7,500 jobs, give
Yeah,
or take, right?
they deserve it.
Right? No, they don't, Danny. You're
Yes, they
awful.
do.
You're an
All of
awful
them.
person. So
All of them.
look, the fact is he doesn't want to buy the company. He had never had any intention. He likes to throw his weight around to get his way. That's all this
Right.
ever was. And
Mm.
so he's using this to go, okay, if I really would lose my lawsuit in court, which he should, he committed fraud. Then he again I just don't like it when rich people get away with crap that everyone else would go to jail for. That's all I'm saying.
Mm,
But when he committed fraud, low level fraud, I'm not talking about like master fraud, but low level
right.
fraud, by using Twitter and other platforms, if I can't, if I'm the court's going to make me do it, then I'm going to make the company so difficult that they're not
Yeah.
going to let me do it. Right? We're going to make it
Yeah.
their decision.
Right. So I'm going to challenge your characterization that he did any sort of fraud.
He did
I think
fraud.
he did. Mhm. I think he did what every person should do. Nonetheless, he was talking about though what he was discussing was that he wanted to, use Twitter as like a form of like in China. He was making the comparison. They have something called WeChat, and
Mm-hmm.
you do all of your payments, your chatting, all of your communication. I think WeChat even has like a streaming service. So when he was talking about using Twitter as a platform to build X,
Right.
the everything platform that is decentralized, and that was his theory. I kind of buy into that, and I think that if let's just for a second take him seriously. He wants to buy the company and he wants to gut 75% of the employees. I agree with everything he's saying. They all deserve it. In
They
addition
do
to
not.
being most of most of the people who work at Twitter are probably vile people
No,
who
they're
deserve not
not. They are not.
probably
Most people are good people, Danny.
right. I just want to say to the people at Twitter, thanks for building the apparatus for us to go live on your platform.
Yeah, and could you not, so that they don't disconnect our
Yeah,
entire thing here, Danny? Could you?
yeah.
Just a little.
But okay, finally, just one last thing on that.
Uh huh.
They all deserve to be bankrupted. But I'm just saying, so but if that is truly what he's
Awful.
trying to no, but if that is truly what he's attempting to do is create an everything platform based off of using Twitter and taking it and making it open source and decentralized, he's not it's not entirely unforeseeable or unreasonable to suggest that you have this huge staff, that you have a huge corporation with all of these employees, and their goal in their business is to do something fundamentally different than what he intends on doing with the platform. Now let me also just make this very like add this in there.
Hmm.
Twitter is a grossly unprofitable business.
No,
So
well,
like
it's not profitable. It's never been profitable. I don't think it was ever.
which doesn't so then we're talking about a company that's not profitable, employees that exist on the backs of investors. They don't exist on the back of
Stop it.
profits.
Stop it. You sound so. The, Reddit's
Correct. Hmm.
anti work, whatever it is, subreddits
No,
is
I'm
so
not
popular.
anti-work. I'm not anti-work. I'm
You are no, you would look. The point is what you're saying is wrong. But
and listen.
here,
My
look, there is
cousin Parag
another.
Agrawal, the CEO of Twitter, he's my cousin. He's going to lose his job if this happens.
Well, but look, I'll throw this out to you. Okay,
Yeah.
this actually, I was 95% sure he would never own Twitter. Right, like
Yeah, and
very
we and
confident.
that's and that I agree with you. I'm confident that he's never going to close this deal. But you have to look at this trickery, this sleight of hand, and go,
Well, but with this, it may push my theory down to maybe 80-20. And here's why.
really,
Here's
okay,
why. There is a way. Now, again, if this guy is playing 7D chess, as you say,
hmm,
right?
correct,
Think about it this way. We know that he's lost about half of his investors, right? From when he was going to buy the company in the first place. Because when that all went viral, everybody and their dog came up, called him up, and said, "Hey, I want a piece. If you're going to do this, I'll give you some money." Blah 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 blah.
Larry Ellison,
Right.
Oracle,
So if he's lost half of his investors, and
right,
he wants to make some money,
yeah,
and like he was going to do the first place, use all of someone else's money instead of some of his and some of theirs, which he
right,
doesn't want to do at all because we've talked about
right.
his liquidity problems, or maybe he just doesn't want to risk his money on stuff that he wants to take a chance on. Either
Hey,
way,
this
this
is
is his
this
business,
is
right?
rich. This is Rich Dad Poor Dad 101.
Yes.
OPM, other people's money.
So let's just say he has to use a bunch of his money to make this deal close because half of his investors walked away. And let's just say I wanted to me, right? I wanted to buy a company and immediately get my money back and immediately get away from it as humanly possible. Let me go in. I'm going to tell them up front that I'm going to lay off 3/4 of the staff so they hey, I don't own the company yet. I'm just telling you. So I get to be not the
Right.
good guy, but the, hey, I'm not springing you on this guy. I'm not walking into the deal going, hey, everything's going to stay the same, folks, like most companies do, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Everything's
yeah. And
going to
then they
stay the
fire
same.
everybody.
We're not taking anybody. 2 months later, they fire everybody, right? So he goes,
Right.
hey, I'm going to lay off 75% of the staff. All of a sudden, guess what the company is? Company's profitable.
Profitable. Yeah.
Not only is it profitable, it's lean, mean, everybody loves it, whatever. He could buy the company using half of his own money, turn
Right.
around and offload the half that he had to use his money on
Right.
completely to new investors because he
Correct. It's profitable
cut
now.
75%, it's
Yeah.
profitable now, yada yada, and probably get more for it.
And
So there's a
listen,
way for him to come out the other end very quickly with all of his money back and profit and the company.
right. And here's the other thing: if he leaks this this is leaked. At least that's what I understand. It's a leaked document. I don't think they put it out intentionally. Um, think about the people who are like, "Oh my goodness, I'm going to lose my job." Well, I'm just going to go find another one and quit. Guess what? Getting you to quit is to the benefit of Twitter.
Right.
Your your stocks, your shares don't invest. You're walking away. They don't have to pay you a severance. And the fear of like Elon Musk is going to come in here and he's going to make people who say things that we don't like. He's going to let them just say those things. He's not going to protect us like a dad. And
Twitter
he's
will
going to
still
get
be Twitter, whether Elon Musk owns it or not. The only question becomes is, let's just say, for argument's sake, he does buy it, and he wants to turn it, he wants to use it as a bridge to X.
yeah,
Then that will happen. But unless Elon Musk does that,
yeah,
Twitter will be Twitter the same it is Twitter 5 years from now. It's just because it's so simple and user
yeah,
friendly, and everybody's there, right? That wants to be
right,
there, right?
yeah. Fair enough.
So Danny, because we're gonna have to cut short on time, I'm gonna go ahead and move you to the next story, which
Yeah.
I know you'll enjoy.
Mm.
McDonald's.
Yes.
Now, McDonald's, everybody knows about a month ago, you started seeing ads, and it kind of hit TikTok and Reddit and all these things that McDonald's was going to release this month in October a limited edition adult Happy Meals with limited edition adult toys. So let's start with just that statement,
Uh,
Danny. How are you feeling?
I want to fly into the sun. That's how I feel. I fly into it and just it's see Valhalla. I don't know. I mean, listen, man. It there's a part of me that goes, it's just nostalgia marketing. It's just
Right,
they're doing exactly what every car company did when they brought back muscle cars, all that kind of stuff.
right.
But there's another part of me that goes, what is wrong with my generation? We need freaking Happy Meals.
I don't. None of these releases, and I think these came out day before yesterday. But I don't even know how much they are. Like, how much is an
Yeah,
adult Happy Meal, right? Like,
$12 is what
I,
I heard.
I would figure 10, $12. But isn't that
Yeah,
a really expensive Happy? But I digress. Anyway, the
right,
point is anytime, I mean, McDonald's obviously has keyed in on marketing trends forever, right? You can't
right.
mod, marketing and McDonald's, they've got it, right? They figured that out, right? So coming out with an adult toy and saying, "Hey, we're only going to do this for a limited time,
Yeah,
and we're going to do it with limited time McDonald's," meaning they're not going to remake these toys and stuff like that. You add
yeah.
that, and people automatically go, they know their base is. Their base is redneckyville, right? That's where McDonald's are because that's the people that eat
No,
McDonald's,
no, no,
right?
no.
They're
McDonald's is
also in
everywhere,
really
my
good
friend.
places, right?
Yeah,
People go wherever if you enjoy McDonald's. I'm just saying where their dollars and cents come from on a daily
yeah, that's
basis
probably true.
is redneckville, which don't get on me. I'm one of you, okay?
Yeah, as,
Redneck,
as
you
am
give
I.
who collects commemorative plates that no, it's not a single one of them has ever gone up in value ever. It's Reddy McRedneckville. So you give them limited edition McDonald's toys to
Uh,
collect. They're gonna collect them. The food becomes a secondary product, right? There's already
okay,
been reports of people stealing the toys from the McDonald's before they ever get into the meals. Okay?
all right. I guess. listen, at first when you started talking about rednecks, I was just like, oh, okay. But then you pointed out who's collecting commemorative plates.
You know, like the
Sold.
connection there, like the
Sold.
same people that are collecting these McDonald's toys are those
Yeah.
same people. You and I both know it. Okay,
Yeah.
their house, their furniture's all the wood
Yeah.
paneling from the '70s,
Yeah.
right? Their
You're right.
couch
You're
is
right.
really
You're right. You're right.
old. Like,
No, listen. They are when they get divorced, they are going to be splitting these toys up in the divorce, and it's going to be like, well, listen here, okay? There's no reason why Amber should get the double wide and all of the McDonald's
that's
toys. All
right.
right,
And all the glass angels, right? The
right,
cherubs and all of the
right.
yeah,
And let me tell you something. There is no way in heck I'm going to let her have full custody of our son Aiden. Okay,
Austin.
uh,
Now look,
yeah,
in
Aiden, our daughter Melania, our other son Baron.
now, now that we know how you feel about the Happy Meals, Danny, how would you
Yeah,
feel if, all right, 2 days in, um, these things are being uploaded to eBay
yeah. And I
for
saw that.
$30,000?
Again, I think I will revert to my initial statement when you asked me, how do you feel about this? I want to fly into the sun. Okay.
I look. I am
I
all for people making a
personally,
dollar. Like
and listen,
seriously, if you
me
can make
too.
a dollar,
Me too.
make a dollar. All right.
I am not begrudging the individual selling. Okay.
Right.
I am begrudging the individual buying. And that individual, I want to, here's the thing, that individual also spent $2.5 million buying NFTs that are now worth 18 bucks,
18
right?
cents more like it. Look, the the fact is like you, I have no problem with the hustle, right? I don't.
Yeah.
However,
You can't knock it. You can't hate on the guy who's selling it. I would do, listen, if I went to the McDonald's right now and bought it and got the toy that everybody wants, I'm selling it for money.
of course, and see, I have no problem with, again, like you said, the seller. But however, I feel about this particular adventure, like not all business plans work, not all businesses work. Some people need to fail so that they can figure out how to learn and do it again next time. And some people fail just because it's a bad freaking idea. And they had a
Mm,
whole bunch of people telling them, but still, good for you for trying,
yeah.
right? Something that didn't work. However, in this case, like remember when Popeyes, was it the Popeyes spicy chicken
Yeah.
sandwich or
Yeah.
whatever?
And
Love Popeyes, but their spicy chicken sandwich was like selling out in like the first hour for all day, and those
and
guys were like buying big bags of them and trying to sell them outside. It's food. I'm not buying food from a
yeah, I'm
guy
not.
holding a bag full of chicken sandwiches.
Now
I'm,
I've purchased other things from a guy on the street corner, but
but
that
I'm
was
not
down in
buying food
Mexico.
that
So
way,
yeah,
right? So
yeah, yeah.
I think this is doomed to fail, like the chicken sandwich was doomed to
I
fail.
I don't,
The
and let me tell you
resale,
why. Well, the resale of it's going to fail. That part I
right?
agree with you. The resale, I mean, the resale of, and listen, we're existing in what I call the hype economy of where everything is like, you even see small time creators doing like, I'm doing a limited edition drop
Yeah.
of like, it's like, bro, you're printing a Fiverr design, and this is what I do. So
Mm-hmm.
no judgments. You're printing a Fiverr design through a print on demand supplier on a
Mm-hmm.
Fruit of the Loom T-shirt. Just
Right.
take it easy. You're not Louis Vuitton. You're not Balenciaga. Just let's all just relax.
Right.
But I mean, but they're also, one of our episodes some time ago, I said there will be kids, in the future, probably my children,
Mm-hmm.
wearing red hats that say a specific four-word phrase on it, as like this was
Retro.
cool back in,
Yeah,
yeah, this
this
is
is
retro,
retro. Back in the
and like
1920s.
yeah, no, like someone's gonna be like, dude, my dad gave me this Jake Paul shirt. They're like, that boxer? He used to have a clothing line? Like the heavyweight champion of the world, Jake Paul? It's like, no,
Right.
no, no. He used to be a YouTuber. And they're gonna be like, YouTuber? What's that? They're like, it's the app that came before Rumble where people
Right.
used to watch videos.
It's the app that came before they can read your brain and see what you wanted to see, like whatever it is. Um, Look, yeah, here somebody's gonna buy one or two of these for like 10 or 15 grand, something stupid,
Yeah,
and I wish I had the. I would never do any of this dumbness, by the way, but if I did, and I put it on eBay, and somebody
yeah,
bought this $12 toy unopened Big Mac, whatever, for $12,000, I would tell that story forever.
of
It would
course,
come out of my lips every time there was like
dude.
guys drinking beer around a fire.
Yeah,
Every
yeah, yeah.
time, you know what I mean? I was at a convenience store. I,
I one time I found a glitch on a website that sold cell phones. This is back when people had contracts and whatever. And Sprint was selling Palm Trios. It was Palm Central, whatever the device was,
right.
and it's $50 with a 2-year contract. Well, for one reason or another, the glitch on the website just said $50, no contract.
Wow.
So I proceeded to max out my credit cards. And then I went to my buddies and said, "How much cash can you put together in the next day or two?"
Hmm.
And they put together all the cash they could. We maxed out their credit cards. And I proceeded to sell 2 or 300 freaking Palm devices on eBay. And I remember like it took a month or 2 months to get all of the devices.
Yeah.
And I remember they fixed the glitch, and I kept contacting them, and like, "Hey, when are you guys going to deliver this?" Because they didn't really charge my credit card yet. And dude, 99% figured they're not delivering these devices. They're just going to email me and say it's a glitch. Get out of here.
Right.
But for one reason or another, like one day, FedEx and UPS just start stopping at my house. And I was in college and I was living at my parents' house. And my dad's like, "What the heck? How many phones do you order?" I said, "I'm putting them all on eBay." And
Okay. Don't make that voice. You'll get us all canceled.
that's hold on. I'm not doing an accent. Okay, I'm not appropriating a culture. That's how the man talks. What do you want me to get?
That's how he talks. I got nothing to say about it. I can't
Yeah, of
say
course.
nothing. I got nothing to say. No.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-mm.
And I'm just saying like that, dude. To this day, like my friends will hit me up and be like, "Hey, man, do you remember when you found all those phones and you hit us up?" And my dad's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" He's like, "I have a credit card with way bigger
Way
limits than
bigger.
you or any of your idiot friends."
We
And
could have
he's like,
bought their entire thing.
If you had just told me, he's like, I would have let you max out my credit card, and you would have bought $5,000 or $6,000 worth of them, and sold them on eBay if the profits are so high.
Yeah.
It was
No.
good. Yeah,
I get it. Well, and that's a whole model right there, right?
yeah.
Last story before we get out of here. Um, I actually picked this up from Twitter. I was telling Danny about this a little bit earlier. I picked this up for Twitter. It's been trending all day. It's the Cheesecake Factory is what's been trending all day.
Okay.
Okay, stop it, Danny. Okay, stop it. Obviously, this
All
is
right.
something people care about. Okay, the gist of this it all came from an original post that said from Grinch at Grinch 211-88235, so that we're completely compliant there. Said before
Hold on, wait.
social. Go
Let
ahead.
me just say something before someone jumps down our throat for saying like, "You guys did a story based on a post from a guy with a handle named Grinch 67." But let me tell you something. If you go watch CNN right now, they're gonna be like, "Can you believe that cat turd 2017?" But like,
Or there's talking about this same thing because it's trending. Guess
yeah,
what? You it doesn't matter if it's trending in
right,
today's world. It'll be on
right,
CNN, MSNBC. Yeah, they all have segments of what's trending on
right, yeah.
Twitter and whatever. Anyway,
Newsmax.
whatever. Okay, so he said before social media, Olive Garden, Red Lobster, Cheesecake Factory. So he's calling out those three specifically. Were all
Mm,
considered solid places to eat. Somehow
right,
now everyone hates those places. Y'all be acting
right,
for the internet. So look, the guy is obviously trying to say, hey, these are still good restaurants. These are
yeah,
still what we thought of as a kid, and they should be treated as such. Y'all just fronting because you're in front of the camera, and it's cool to
right.
say Red Lobster sucks, Cheesecake Factory sucks, or whatever.
So here's what I'll say, um, dude. Cheesecake Factory, in the words of the Canadian philosopher Aubrey Drake Graham or whatever his last name is, um, the rapper Drake, cheesecake. Like it's in one of his songs. Like I want to go to cheesecake with the girl or whatever. Now, here's what I will say. Um, I like Olive Garden. I really like going to Olive Garden. And listen, people like it's not authentic Italian food. Bro, have you been to an authentic Italian place? It's like here's $60 worth of pasta, and it's this big. It's like
Well, but that look, if you like
I'm
Olive Garden, then go. Who
I'm
cares if it's
I,
authentic anything?
I'm a godforsaken American. I want a I want a bucket of pasta. I want it to be $18. I want it to have creamy sauce. I want it to have fried chicken in it. I'm kidding, but I'm just saying like,
You're talking about two guys right here from Texas.
yeah, no.
Texas literally infects whatever you serve so much as far
Yeah,
as restaurants are concerned. We
yeah,
literally invented a phrase called Tex-Mex because we wanted
yeah,
it
no.
our version. Okay,
Correct.
they make in Texas Chinese restaurants serve beef fried rice. There's no
Yeah.
beef fried rice, okay,
In China.
anywhere else.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
not,
it's
okay?
yeah.
So Texas is always going to do things like that
Well,
are
no, it's just take Texas out of it, take America out of it.
well,
Every region in the world, people will see something and then they'll adopt it to make it their own. There is a there is a McDonald's in India. There's Pizza Hut in India. There's all these other places in India. Do you think they're serving American cheeseburgers over there?
no,
No, it's a chicken tikka something or other.
whatever.
It's some sort of samosa knockoff. That's all fine and good. But it is. But you know what's funny is where was I? It was probably 4 or 5 years ago. I went to Israel, and it's like I we stopped at a McDonald's in
Hmm.
Israel, and it was just weird because there was I'm looking at the menu. I'm like, I don't recognize any of this, but this is their idea of what we're eating in America. And they had something called the Big Texas Burger, and my dad
Okay.
ordered it, and it's just like two patties, huge sandwich with
Right.
barbecue sauce and bacon or something. I mean, it probably wasn't actual bacon, but it's Israel. But not a lot of pork consumption going on in that region of the world. But nonetheless,
So it was what it wasn't even what we're having. It's what they
no, I'm just
think
saying
we're having.
that's what I'm saying. And so like people like this isn't authentic. Like, dude, go there and just enjoy it. Now, when it comes to Red Lobster, here's what I will say: I'm actually allergic to seafood, so I've never been like an enjoyer of Red Lobster because whenever we go, it's like there's two things on the menu that I can eat, right? But
Well, and they're made in the same kitchen as all those other things. Like my
yeah,
mother-in-law
yeah,
can't go to any seafood restaurant because she's that
yeah,
allergic that she can't even eat in the same like the kitchen.
yeah, the
That
contamination, the
yeah.
cross contamination, that's not at least hasn't been an issue for me yet. But here's what I will say: it's like there's another resurgence of like this is also what I would call like a generational divide of like, hey, you can take the exact same menu, ingredients, flavors, and whatever, and if you take it and just spread it across the whole country under different brands,
Hmm.
millennials and younger will be like, oh, this is unique to my and you
Oh
and I
yeah,
could
no.
go,
If they just rebranded everything for the generation, like completely rebrand. I'm not talking about
yeah,
like Dr Pepper to Dr Pepper rebrand. I'm talking about Dr Pepper to hip hop G
cola,
Bam
yeah,
Cola. Then
and then
it's
but
still
in
Dr
Korea,
Pepper made
yeah,
exactly the same way.
but in Korea, it's BTS cola, right?
Right,
It's there.
right.
So here's what I'm saying: you could take Applebee's. Now I don't have
Maybe
contempt
not
for,
Applebee's. That's some pretty gross stuff.
but let me say, so I have all the contempt in the world for Applebee's, and anytime someone's like, "Let's go to Applebee's," I'm like, "No, no, no, let's go to the Waffle House. The Waffle House is a better place to go to eat something than Applebee's will ever be." Okay, like because I'm getting Waffle House quality, or probably crappier than Waffle House,
Mm-hmm.
because they're microwaving everything. But I'm watching some guy cook my food at the Waffle House while
It's like a
while
redneck Benihana. I like it.
while I'm watching two people fight each other in the corner of the restaurant. You cannot get dinner and a show for $8.99 at a Denny's or an Applebee's.
IHOP or Apple,
None of
nothing,
them.
nothing.
Nope. Nobody's out there fighting somebody in an IHOP, okay, or an Applebee's. But if you go to Waffle House, and the thing I love about it is they are brutalizing each other, and the workers are just like, all right,
Yeah, gotta keep going. Look, I grew up, a small town, middle of nowhere. If we
yeah,
wanted to go to one of these restaurants, it was an hour away. I'd drive to
right,
Mesquite, Texas, Restaurant
yeah,
Row to get to one of these. But we did occasionally, and
right,
there was a Red Lobster, and that was a very, because seafood very expensive in the 80s, 70s and 80s, and so that was a restaurant we would go to for a special occasion. At
yeah,
prom night, from our local. That whole restaurant
yeah,
was
yeah,
packed because it had restaurants like this, right? Cheesecake Factory, I didn't have anything to do with until I was much older. They didn't have
yeah,
them where I grew up, but there's only three or four things on the menu I actually like. And now,
right,
I've ordered. I get that their menu's like reading an encyclopedia. I have no idea why. And how
yeah,
can they make all of those things back there in the kitchen? They can't. They're heating a lot of this stuff up. But my
right.
point though is, so out of the entire menu, if I can only a menu that size, and I can only find three or four things I'm willing to eat, it's just a waste of time. Now, Cheesecake Factory does cheesecake well, like it does, but
I I
everything
love
else.
the problem with cheesecake is I love cheesecake, but after 2 bites, I have to take a nap. So
That's weird. But and then of course Olive Garden, same thing, was on the same restaurant row.
yeah,
Love Olive Garden, and if you like it, who gives a crap? I don't care if they're reheating it. I don't care if they're sticking that sucker in nuclear waste to heat it up and it comes out that way. It doesn't matter to me. If I like it, I don't care if it's not
yeah.
authentic. Nothing.
Well, no, it's authentically tasty. That's all I care about.
That's it. And the
Yeah. So like,
breadsticks,
right. So here's the other thing. I don't post pictures of the places where I go to eat ever,
no.
and there's two parts to it. Part of it is I'm a fat guy, and it just seems like it's just a bad look to be like, I'm morbidly obese. My knees click when I walk. Also, here I am eating a pile of carbs.
Here I am eating unlimited breadsticks with my
Yeah,
little
right.
piece of, Alfredo.
Yeah. Can't wait till you guys have to pay for my health care. Ha ha ha.
Shut up, Danny. Shut up,
Um,
Danny. You're gonna get
yeah,
us all killed.
I know. Canceled. You can't even say that word. You can't say the K
You're
word.
gonna
Why
get
did
us
you do that?
canceled for canceling. Canceled.
Yeah. Anyways, what the other part of the reason is it's just such a like I think it's so weird to be like, here's what I'm eating. I think it's just basic. But here's the other thing. I I'm one of these people who like if you're the kind of person who is I think it's just young naivete, people following trends of just you're just trying to fit in. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
blame people. Like in the original tweet is correct. You're acting for the internet. And guess what? Before the internet, you were just acting for your friends. And like it just happens to be that your friends are on the internet now. You don't have any real friends.
Don't make judgments on people, Danny, just because.
That,
All right. Don't make
I'm
judgments on
literally
people.
I'm literally saying the opposite. I'm saying I'm not judging these kids.
Yeah, you are though. Everybody can tell
Well,
you
of
are.
course I am, but I'm saying I'm not.
And just because you say it makes it true.
Yeah,
All right, Danny. It's been about an hour, or right at an
yeah,
hour. I
just a
think
little
that's
bit.
great for Friday Live, folks. If you were listening, thank you for listening. Please subscribe and add and all the other different stuff depending on what platform you're on.
Right,
But also, we'll be doing these at least twice a week, hopefully, if not more.
right,
And make sure that you comment. We're gonna figure out a way to next time we do this to figure out who's commenting and where, so we can
right.
the we want to be able to interact with y'all as we go on about this journey, right? And answer any questions you have about the stories that we're covering.
I'm so over going on journeys. Can we just get to the destination already?
Thank you and
Well,
goodbye.
no, wait. I just wanted to close on saying one thing.
Uh huh.
The statistic says that 9 out of 10 new businesses fail. So if you're an entrepreneur, be ready to start 10 businesses.
Oh my God, that was actually motivational. Is something wrong with you? I was fully prepared for you to say something like, "Don't even try because you know what I mean? I'm starting
Yeah,
30 businesses," or something like that. Like,
yeah, yeah.
three of you are going to have to not so I can try 40 times.
Mm.
That was closer to what I thought you were going to say.
I welcome all competition from every stratosphere of society, and I warn them I like war. So
We'll see you next time, folks.